Welcome to the episode of Locked In. In this episode, I'm going to be going over a affordable, direct mount, dual-sided power meter for your road, gravel, and even your mountain bike. So if you want to see that content, please stay tuned. So in this review, I'm going to be going over the specs and features of it, the compatibility, and basically all the options and what cranksets it works with, as well as pricing and my final thoughts. So first, let's get into specs and features. These are the specs that are going to hold true against all of the power meters that Sigeye, I'm not exactly sure to pronounce it correctly, does for all of their units. What's important for power meters are the accuracy, which is to say 1.5%, and the power range is going to go from 0 to 2500 watts. The cadence range that it reads between is 30 to 220. The battery life during normal use, obviously this may vary a little bit depending on weather conditions, is rated at 120 hours. It is a rechargeable battery style power meter. It comes with a magnetized charger. It gives you a standby time of a year. It does work with both ANT Plus and Bluetooth units. And for the weight, on average, it is about 115 grams. You're gonna have this unit that's gonna display your power, your cadence, and your left and right balance. As well as it is an auto-calibrated unit, so you don't need to constantly calibrate it either before you ride or during your ride if the weather changes. It automatically compensates for temperature for you. So now let's get into compatibility. This is gonna basically have a wide range of options. I would definitely check the links below to see if they're gonna add any future compatible cranksets based on when you're watching this review of how new or old it is. Now currently for SRAM, it is a 3-bolt design direct mount. They do offer it in a 110 and a 130 BCD. They also offer a range for rotor cranks, as well as the 8-bolt direct mount for SRAM as well, and a boost crank that would be used for your SRAM direct mount mountain cranks. They do have a line of Shimano power meters as well. Those are integrated into the unit, so you are buying the crankset. This review is only talking about the direct mount style, but just know that if you're interested in those as well, again, use the links below and you can check out their offering. So again, for my current setup, I use a 3-bolt design SRAM unit, which is currently compatible with the S900 series like I used, carbon arms, your Force 1, your Red 22, your Force 22, and your Rival 22 cranksets that are all direct mount based. And again, you can get that in a 110 or 130 BCD. So if you want to run a compact or a standard crankset, or if you're running 1x, you can run either size option and get a chainring that suits that. Now, as far as pricing goes, if you watched my first video of 2020, I did mention that it was below $300, and when I initially reached out to the company and found it on Aliexpress, it was currently below $300. I believe it was about $297. Currently, as far as the exact moment that I just looked the price up on this review on AliExpress, it's ranging around $350. So keep that in mind. Prices on AliExpress tend to fluctuate a lot depending on if they're running a sale. I don't know if it's ever going to get that low again, but keep in mind around the $300 to $350 mark is about right for this unit. Now on to my final thoughts. Let's get into a little bit of the actual installation of the unit, as well as me using it and the accuracy of it, and if I've really liked it, and is it worth something that you would want to have. So as far as installation goes, very, very simple. It basically, I did have to get a different crankset since my current crankset was a non-direct mount style. So I picked up a set of S900 cranks really, really cheap. I think it was about $100 for those. Then all I had to do was install the power meter onto the unit. And a little tip, depending on your crankset style, install your chain rings onto the power meter before you actually bolt it into the crankset. I didn't notice that at first, and when I first bolted it on, one of the bolts was hidden, so I couldn't snug down the chain rings all the way, and I had to unmount it, snug it back, put it back together. So as far as if you are using this, make sure to mount your ring or rings prior to installation of the crank arm. Then you just install it like usual. I still had a GXP style bottom bracket that I slid it right into. It actually lined right up to my old crankset, so I didn't have to adjust the derailleur. The spacing was exactly where the Red 22 chainring sat, so I didn't have to do anything to the front derailleur on my road bike. As far as in use, to give you a background, I have used and still have a Stages left side power meter. It is a Generation 2, which is not as fast responding, but I can tell you this thing is worlds better as far as response time compared to the Stages. Now, I haven't ridden personally a Gen 3, which is supposed to be a lot better, but I'm just giving you a frame of reference if you've used the Stages. It picks up your signal way faster. Again, having that left-right balance analysis is really cool if you're wanting to look into that and trying to balance your power out. And I've been really, really happy with how accurate the unit's been. I've never had to calibrate it. All of the power numbers that I've gotten from it seem about right when I use my Stages beforehand and doing Zwift training before that to see really what my average output is. This set right in line. Another thing that was great is typically when I use my Stages meter, I had to put the 10-second power on my cycling computer because it takes so long to kind of even out because the stage was really on and off as far as the power goes. So I had to smooth out the curve as far as visually looking at it. This I can use easily on the 3-second power, and it's very smooth and very accurate, and I really, really like how this unit's performed. I have no issues not recommending this unit to you. If you want to try this and they fit your compatible cranks, or if you want to buy one of their Shimano crank sets, which are a little bit more money, I definitely would recommend it. I've been really, really happy. I like the fact that it's all waterproofed and it just uses a magnet style charger. They do give you 2 chargers in the box in case you do lose one, but I really prefer this over the CR3032 batteries that the Quark meters tend to use. I have had a Quark meter a long, long time ago, and I did remember one rainy ride where it did kind of short out because water somehow got into where the battery is at. So I like the fact that this is all basically internalized. Now, this doesn't have as much battery life as that, but 120 hours on your power meter, I definitely don't ride that much to burn through that very quickly, but I've never had to charge it since I've got this unit to review for you guys. So if you have any further questions, please make sure to comment below. I'm definitely not a cycling coach, but riding with power is definitely something that's a great useful tool to kind of gauge your output during rides so you don't burn out or bonk. And I've been really interested in incorporating that more and more into my training in 2020. So thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe, turn notifications on, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I post on there regularly, as well as I produce a video every single week on this channel. And thanks for watching another episode of Locked In.
Let's get locked in.